Welcome to Mild's Comics Plate. The following may contain copyrighted material under fair use. Batman, property of DC Comics, created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. Hi everybody. I have Detective Comics 1004 today. I've tried to make this video a couple times, but I wanted to make sure I got my take on it to be pretty personal. First off, we have this cover. It's a pretty well-drawn cover, great composition with the Arkham Knight in the foreground and these villains in the background and Batman all tied up. It's going to bring some excitement to the issue, but unfortunately this Arkham breakout happened last issue, and they're not really going to follow up too much on it in this issue because it's an issue that's mostly about Arkham Knight's origin. And for those who didn't catch the previous issue, Arkham Knight was revealed to be the daughter of Jeremiah Arkham. And so the first few pages is just Batman talking to Jeremiah Arkham, and then he starts telling the backstory of Arkham Knight. Now, she was born during a prison raid. Her mother was pregnant, and they kept it a secret. And during this prison raid, of course, she goes into labor. And what I like, the artwork, this scroll here, they kind of did it in diary form, because allegedly she had written this diary about her life. So they go on to tell the story about how, the mother actually had died right after the child was born from a batarang to the neck. Just some random inmate was throwing batarangs around and she caught one to the neck. And, here's a few pages later, she's a little girl and she notices Batman making these late night visits to Arkham to interrogate the Joker and other random villains. And these villains are her friend. They're her godparents. They helped raise her in some way. And so she starts out life viewing Batman as a villain. Skip another page here, and then this is her as she's getting older. She goes back, reviews the security footage of her birth, and sees her mom with the batarang in her neck, and just assumes it was Batman. She kind of trains, and Batman hearing this story's just like, okay, nobody ever corrected her. She's got this vendetta against me, and nobody set the record straight. Which is kind of interesting because that's kind of the take I have on this is, she's got this long, complicated backstory that's focused on Batman, when it didn't need to be in our universe for writing purposes. They could have done something somewhat simpler, but I guess they kind of wanted to continue over some of the themes from the video game. And have Arkham Knight really have to have a reason to hate Batman and want to bring Batman's world down. So I guess in some ways it's good writing, in other ways it's not. That this idea that Jeremiah never really taught her about good and bad, never really taught her that these villains in the asylum are evil. It seems a little far-fetched for me. It seems a little extreme. Batman at its basis is just, defeat the enemy. And the enemies, some of them have complicated backstories, but none of them are this tied to Batman created me, with the exception of maybe the Joker. But even then, it's he got into it himself. It wasn't a life thrust upon him. And so this is a little convoluted for me. The next few pages after that are just Batman preparing for battle with the Arkham Knight and vice versa. There's a little plot twist at the end. I won't give much of that, but all in all, for $3.99, you know, for 75% of the comic to be a story that has, you know, little to do with current Batman and more to do with this backstory, this setting up of an origin, it, you know, this wasn't the best work Tomasi's put out on Batman, but, you know, I'd say, you know, I'm going to give this run a chance and see where it heads, and hopefully they make this Arkham Knight character a little better, because I'm just not happy with the origin. Anyway, that's my review. The artwork was alright. The cover was pretty cool, but, you know, it didn't necessarily fit. And it did get me kind of excited for the next issue, so I guess it did its job at that point. But yeah, I'm not too happy with this origin. Anyway, if you like the video, thumbs up, subscribe, tell your friend, and check me out soon. Bye.